Welcoming Ryan Hollis here to the program. Get ready to do battle against Jason Sampson. Legacy Fighting Championships 56 coming up on June 24th. And I understand, too, that are you booked for Legacy 58 as well against Cody Williams?
Yes.
So you're going to fight on June 24th and then turn around and fight again on July 22nd, so 2 months later.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that, obviously, most fighters would love to know when the next fight is coming for planning purposes. But yours is literally 2 months apart. Is that enough time to get ready between, no matter what happens in this fight coming up on the 24th, you'll be ready to go in July 22nd?
I'm different than a lot of fighters. I'm real lucky that most of the time whenever I fight, I come out unscathed, and I'm pretty elusive. And most of the time if worse comes to worse and I do lose, it's usually from somebody holding me down, and you don't really get beat down too much from just being laid on. So usually it's either we stand up and I bang them up, or they lay on me, and then either way I'm usually ready to fight the very next month. I fight about a good 5 to 7 times a year, and I'm trying to up that up this year. I fought September, I fought January, I fought in Bellator in February, I fought March, and then I was supposed to fight Damasio Page in May, and then he backed out. Now I'm fighting June and July, so I just like to keep fighting, man, and bringing money in, and I found that whenever I let months and months go by, I don't know if it's I get rusty, or if it gets in my head, or what. I get comfortable or content not fighting. I feel like if I just keep doing, I stay in shape, and and I just stay in that fight mentality instead of having to work myself back into it.
There, for the folks at home, when Ryan wins, of his 11 wins, 5 KOs, 3 submissions, 3 decisions. When he loses, 8 losses, all by decision. So he's right. He usually gets held down and ground and pounded where he doesn't take much damage. To be able to get up and compete against so quickly kind of makes sense. So how do you see Jason Sampson at 13-1? I mean, he doesn't have as many fights as you. Both of you had about equal competition level, so you both of you fought the same quality of opponent. But he seems to win more as a whole. So how do you see this fight breaking down?
I think Jason Sampson has fought some tough guys. I don't think Jason Sampson has fought as many tough guys as I have. And I'm not knocking his skill. I'm not saying that he's not, a good fighter or whatever. But I just think that he might have been a little bit smarter about who he, chose and wanted to fight up till now. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's, a wrestler. So that's a pretty nasty combination right there. Because, if you can take guys down and have have the dominant positions, and have good ground and pound like a lot of wrestlers do, but then at the same time you can tap your opponent out, or keep from being tapped out, which is one thing a lot of wrestlers have problems with whenever they come in MMA. But he's a guy who could be on the ground and then not get tapped out and pound on you, so it's pretty dangerous. But I think I fought so many, UFC and Bellator guys and guys who fought in Strikeforce, and a lot of people don't notice that. People just look at me and they look at my record, and they're like, oh, he's got this many losses, or people don't look at the fights that I accept. I fought Shane Howell in September, and he's fought in UFC, a couple times, and I fought Humberto De Leon. He's fought in Bellator and Strikeforce, and Aaron Phillips, he fought in UFC a couple times. Henry Cejudo, who just got done, fighting for the UFC title. Who else? I fought so many guys, and even the ones who aren't in the UFC yet. Some of these guys that I fought are going to end up being in the UFC. I fought this guy, Hector Sandoval, who's like 8-2, 9-2 right now. I think he actually might be, going to the UFC's next fight if he wins his next fight. And I fought some guy down in San Antonio. Can't even remember his name. I fought so many people now. this guy's like 8-1. You know, they don't put me against people who have records like 5-3 or 5-4. It's always like 7-1, 8-1, 11-1, undefeated, UFC prospect. Like I said, I was supposed to fight Damasio Page in May, and then they turn around and give me Samson this month, and so I've never gotten easy fights. It's always been guys with pretty good records. So
Is it frustrating for you? Because it seems like a lot of the guys you fight against end up relatively soon after fighting you, end up getting called up to a bigger show. Is that frustrating for you? That it's almost like, okay, if they beat Hollis or you do well with Hollis, a couple fights later, they're going to call you up, but you don't really seem to get the call up that much.
fuck yeah, it's you get tired of nobody's ever called me that, but I know that's how people look at me. People look at me like Hollis. Hollis is the test. Hollis. If you can get past him, another fight or two, you get in the UFC. People look at me like, oh, you can go in there. He's a tough guy. He'll give you a tough fight. But you can hold him down and you can win. So it's he's got good wins under his belt, and the times he has won, it's always been something like a up kick knockout or a crazy submission, or so it's and I got the appeal. People always want to watch me fight because they think I'm crazy. So, but that's basically it, man. People, I know they look at me like they think that anybody can just hold me down. So I'm dangerous, but if you hold me down, I'm not dangerous. So it's just I'm sure that's what they're trying to do for Damasio, because they had Damasio. He was gonna defend his belt to match Snell, or they were gonna merge it the next month after he was gonna fight me. So I know he was looking at me like I wasn't nothing, and I'm pretty sure that it came to mind that maybe you can hold him down, and then you fight the next month unscathed. But it's different for me. Whenever I'm mad and I fight, I feel like I'm more dangerous. So it's weird that the times I feel like I have been respected and I've went into a fight and people are cheering me on, I feel like that puts a lot of pressure on me. I feel like I don't want to let people down, and it's mentally it's weird for me. I feel like when people don't cheer me on and they think I'm gonna lose, I feel like it amps me up more. It makes me mad, and from where I came from, the reason I started fighting, it kind of puts me back into that state of mind that I used to have whenever I started fighting. So, I started fighting because I used to get bullied, and then then I started street fighting in Galveston, and people would every single week we'd meet up every Friday and we'd put cardboard mats on the ground out in the field, and they would bring this guy, like either a big Mexican guy or a big black guy, or because I didn't live in the best neighborhood, and it'd be like I bet you $100 you can't whoop this white kid, and that's how it would go, and I would always tap him out or TKO him or what, and I did that for about a good 5 months, and that's how I would eat for a little bit, because I didn't have a job, I didn't have anything, I had to couch surf. So whenever I get mad in these fights, that like it snaps me back to my past, and gives me that feeling of that I had whenever I first started fighting.
Well, I got to ask, because you just said like you didn't have a job and you were couch surfing back in the day, and we had to do this interview, and this will be the last question before you can take off. You've actually got to go to work as soon as we hang up with this interview. You got to go right back to work. You fight a lot. Like you've already fought 3 times this year. This will be your 4th time. You fought January, February, March. You're going to fight now in June, then again in July. I mean that's a lot of fights. In 1 month, in 1 year rather. And you want more. You want to fight every month. Is it strictly a money situation for you, having to fight so much because you work a full-time job, plus you have to fight, plus you try to fight 10 times a year? Is it a money situation for you, or is it really a passion that you're like, all I want to do is fight full-time, but I'm just not making that money yet?
Yeah, man, it's kind of a combination of everything. I have a daughter. I got divorced last year, and I have child support I got to pay, and I'm still not allowed to go see my daughter for whatever reason. So I need money to go to court and to get that all situated so I can have my daughter. And I have my girlfriend now, who I've been with for 9 months, and we just found out a month ago that we're expecting. And then I just found out this month, it's going to be a boy. So I got a kid coming December, and then I have a kid I want to see now. And I got a lot of bills that I got to pay, and these little jobs that that I can get around here, they don't pay shit. And if I just fighting don't pay shit, unless I'm catered to, and I'm given the good fights that I can just win, and then I go into UFC or whatever. I'm just I'm different. I go into these fights, and really, like, right now, a lot of it is about money. It's whenever I first started fighting, I kind of went into MMA like, man, I just want to show these guys they aren't that bad. Like, they're not monsters. They're not that much different from us. Because I was always the little kid, or the guy who got picked on. So I wanted to do some sort of sport where I could basically go and fuck bullies up for a living. So I'd come in here pumped up every time, like, yeah, let's see how tough you are. Like, yeah, let's go, let's do this. And then just slowly over time, having the kid, and I guess getting older, it's just, man, I just want to make money. Like, I just have so much weight on my shoulders. Like, I'm putting together this house that me and my lady live in, and I got to get a washer, dryer. I got to fix some sheetrock in the roof. The baby's coming, so I got to fix up the other room to get it baby proof. And I just got so much stuff that I need. I can't afford to take a break. I got to work every day. I got to fight every month. If I was getting paid, $5 to $10 grand a fight, yeah, maybe I would. Maybe I'd wait, a few months. But I'm making $1,000, $2,000 a fight, and after all of our bills and the things that we need to rebuild this house and child support and all this other stuff, it's gone. So I just don't. Yeah, right now it's mostly about money. That's the reason I fight every month.
That's Ryan Hollis to get ready to fight Jason Sampson. Coming up, Legacy Fighting Championships 56, June 24th. Good luck, Ryan. Have a great rest of your training camp, man. Best advice I can give to you is buy some stock and some condoms, and don't have any more kids until you get the situation worked out with your daughter first. And so you're seeing her on a regular basis and taking care of her, and then you got time now between now and December to get all this situated before your son's born. So get that handled, get that stuff done, and that's my unsolicited advice to you between now and December.
Thank you.
You got it, Ryan. Talk to you soon, brother.
Thank you, sir.